Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gum Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Sam Sarasvati Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurte Mahyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Maunavyakhya Prakadita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam Varshishtan Deva Satprashiganaihi Avritam Brahmanishtai Acharyendram Karakalida Chinmudramanandarupam Swatma Ramam Mudidavadanam Dakshinamurti Mide. Hari Om, Namaste. I'm in a way very happy that we have taken up this Dakshinamurti Stotram. In another way, I am very afraid also because this is not a stotra like any other stotra. Bhagavan has composed many tattva stotra, but along with bhakti and then, but this stotra is not, this Dakshinamurti Stotram is not such a easy stotram. So, in our tradition, Dakshinamurti Stotra is only taught after somebody studies at least 5-6 Upanishad, some at least 8-10 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, some of the Prakarana Granthas, and then a person who is well versed in the technology or the techniques and also the terminology of this Vedanta Shastra, then only this Dakshinamurti Stotram is taught. What I am going to do now is only an introduction. Okay, this Dakshinamurti Stotram is only actually, we all call it Attakam, but actually there are 10 verses. It looks very simple and and we can chant it so beautifully and all that, but this is full of philosophical concepts. Here Acharya Shankara is not only explaining the Vedantic wisdom with us, but also does the khandana of other mata. This is not just an exposition of the Vedantic wisdom, but here Bhagavan is doing the Paramata Khandana, taking up other views of the Acharyas and doing the Khandana of that and all that. So, this is not an introductory text. It is not something people who have not studied the Vedanta in depth can be really enjoyed. But I am sure that all of us. So, today I am just going to, just give you some introductory basic understanding of this stotram. We will not be able to go into deep studies, etc. We need some kind of basic preparation to study this Shastra. This Dakshinamurti Stotram by itself is a Shastra. Bhagavan Sudeshwaracharya, one of the direct disciple of Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya, has written a very vast commentary on this Dakshinamurti Stotram known as Manasollasa. And there is, sub-commentaries, and it is just like a Shastra text. It is not just a stuti, it is not just a some introductory text where the Vedantic concepts are discussed, of this Dakshinamurti Stotra, which is worth study. Okay, it is very deep, it is very vast. It's one of the most beautiful and profound work of Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya. Okay. So, without wasting much time, I am just taking up the verse. What I am thinking is, I will take the verse, the Anvaya of the verse, and then a simple meaning of the verse. That much only we will be able to do this time, but I am sure that we will take this up again and then we will try to go deep into this Shastra. Okay, so this is not just a stotra, this is not just like an introductory text. This is something which is very profound. So, even if some things are not understood, please don't get worried. We will take it up again. Okay? Okay? Okay. So, let us start with the first verse. So just to give the introduction itself, we need 2 hours. So I'm not even going to do the introductory part also. I'm directly coming to the words, and just I want to give you an anvaya, the prose order, and then a simple meaning of that, and then I'm sure that we will, you will all take up this, because this is such a beautiful, such a worth studying text. Okay. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam Pashyannatmani mayaya bahirivodbhutam yadha nidraya yasakshat kurute prabodha samaye swatmanamevadvayam tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye nama idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. I'll just we'll go through the Parambarya Paddhati. In olden days, we used to study Sanskrit texts in a procedure, in a pattern. First shloka, then we used to do Padacheda, Padartha, Anvaya. That was the traditional Paddhati. So this is the shloka. Now I will change this entire poetry into prose. Changing the poetry into prose is known as Anvaya. Okay, so the Padya is changed into Gadya. Once we do to the Gadya, some ideas we get. So I am doing the Anvaya. Nidraya yatha tadha. Nija antargatam vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam mayaya bahihi udbhutam iva atmani pasya yaha prabodha samaye advayam swatmanameva sakshat kurude tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Shri Dakshinamurtaye idam namaha. My prostrations again and again and again to Bhagavan Shri Dakshinamurti. Who is Dakshinamurti? Gurumurti. He is the embodiment of Guru Tattva. Dakshinamurti, the word itself is Arthagarbha. Dakshina means Sheshishcha Shemushishcha, the one who has the knowledge and ability to teach. The word Dakshina means that ability to understand and to teach. So Dakshinamurti, generally people think that Dakshinamurti, especially in South India, if you come, in most of the Shiva temples, on the southern side, there will be one Murti facing south. And we call him Dakshinamurti. We do namaskar to him. So people think that Dakshinamurti means that form of the Lord which faces south. Dakshin means south. So Dakshinamurti means that form of the Lord which faces south. But actually here in this text, Dakshinamurti is not the one who faces south. Here Dakshinamurti means embodiment. Embodiment of what? Embodiment of Dakshina. What do you mean by Dakshina? Dakshina means ability. Now we have heard the word Daksha. What is the meaning of Daksha? Samartha. Now he is Daksha, means Samartha. So like that, it is superlative form is Dakshina. Means the most eligible, or a person who can teach us, understand and teach the supreme truth, such a person is known as Dakshinamurti, the embodiment of wisdom. I prostrate to Bhagavan Sri Dakshinamurti, who is embodiment of wisdom, who is the embodiment of Guru Tattva. My prostrations to Bhagavan Sri Dakshinamurti. Why are you prostrating to this Dakshinamurti? Says, Nidraya yatha tatha. Now, as in dream, the same way, Nija Antargatam Vishwam, the universe which is inside, Nija Antargatam, the entire universe which abides deep within us. Nija, apne, Antargatam, inside. That universe which is situated exists deep within us. Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam. How this universe exists deep within us? Like, in olden days, many of the cities were fort states. Fort cities means the entire city is surrounded by the fort, and they used to keep big mirrors in some places. See that those days that CCTV cameras etc. were not available. So in the forts, in many places they keep huge mirror, and that mirror reflects a big portion of the inside fort, and the soldier can look at that mirrors and see who is roaming around. See, that was the technique. So the huge portion of the fort is reflected on the mirror. Like that, Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam, like a city reflected in the mirror, Mayaya, due to the power of Maya, Bahihi Udbhutamiva, that city, that truth, that prapancha which is actually inside is projected as the outside. Whatever this entire universe is actually in our own Bodha Mandala. When we sleep and see the dream, we see everything. So this entire universe is actually existing deep within our consciousness. But due to the power of Maya, this entire universe which is there deep within us is as though projected outside. Nagari tulyam mayaya bahihi udbhudamiva atmani pasyan. These are all seen in us. If we are not awake, there is no world. The world is, where does the world exist? The world exists in ourselves, Atmani. But then we see it as outside, yes, that is known as Maya. Due to the power of Maya Shakti, the world which actually exists within is as though projected outside, like a movie. In a movie, we see so many things on the screen, but we actually know that nobody is there. When somebody is shot, if you go and touch the screen, there is no blood. So this entire thing is actually inside, but as though projected outside. And yaha prabodha samaye. But when we wake up from this sleep, wake up from this maya, wake up from this delusion, advayam atmanameva sakshat kurute. We saw different names and forms and so many things. But the moment we wake up from this delusion, we see that there is only Atma. Nothing else exists. Advayam atmanam eva sakshat kurate. There is nothing else other than one's own self. That Guru Murti who blesses with this jnanam, that Guru Murti which, grants this divine vision of Atma, prostrations to that Sri Dakshinamurti. I know so many questions are there, but this time we'll just see this simple meaning and go forward, and then we'll learn it again. The universe is like a city. I'm just reading the meaning. Reflected in a mirror. Seen inside a mirror, but really outside of it. And it is again as in a dream. And inside phenomenon appearing outside, but really inside. The truth or original is the Supreme Brahman, the one without a second. One's Atman is its reflection seen through the media of senses, mind and intellect. The identity of the Supreme Brahman and one's Atman is understood of self-illumination. He by whose grace that illumination comes to me. To that Dakshinamurti, the Supreme Being who is embodied in the auspicious and benign Guru, I offer my profound salutation. So, what is that which is discussed in the first mantra? The first mantra is talking about our experience. Bhagavan is taking two examples. One is the example of our dream. See, we are dreaming. At the time of dreaming, we do not know that we are dreaming. Okay, we are sleeping, and then in the dream we are walking through the forest, and in that forest we are enjoying. There are trees, there are waterfalls, there are deers, and then we see a tiger. The tiger is chasing us. We are running, and the tiger is running, and then we run. We are fallen somewhere, and then we wake up. We are fallen from our cot to then we wake up. Oh, and then we say, oh my God, I'm saved. Are we saved? We feel that we are saved. Now from that experience. So actually there was no forest, there was no tree, there were no deer, there was no tiger. But we experienced it. Where? Deep within. Now, like that, in a big mirror, the entire city is reflected. So, if you are looking at the mirror, you see the entire city. But the city is not actually inside the mirror, it's outside. The same way, this entire universe is reflected. Okay? Because of the power of Maya. Mayaya bahihi udbhutam. And once we realize this, that whatever we see, everything is play of the Maya, how this experience can come to us? By the grace and blessings of Bhagavan Sri Dakshinamurti. My prostrations again and again and again to that Bhagavan Dakshinamurti who blesses us with this divine wisdom of this self-realization. Nothing is there, only I alone is there. Ahamevasmi, I alone is there. Whatever I see as this name and forms is only a projection of my mind alone. So prostration to that Dakshinamurti. That is the simple meaning of this first verse. I know it is not simple meaning, but this is how we can at least, simplest way we can explain. There are so many concepts in this, okay, that we will take up when we go into a deep study of the Shastra. Second mantra. Bijasyantarivankuro jagaditam prang nirvikalpam punah maya kalpida desha kala kalana vaichitra chitri kritam Maya viva vijrumbhayatyapi mahayogi vayasvechaya tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye nama idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Bijasya antaha ankura iva idam jagat prak nirvikalpamasit Punaha Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana Vaichitra Chitri Kritamasit. Yaha Mayavi Iva Mahayogi iva swechaya vijrumbhayati. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Shri Dakshinamurtaye idam namah. How does the creation happens? One says, you said, no, this entire universe is inside you. How can be? I am so small and this entire inside is so, Jagat is so big. How can this Jagat can be inside me? Says, see, bijasya antaha ankuraha id. A huge pipal tree. A huge Ashwatha vriksha. Have you seen its seed? It is so tiny. In that tiny seed, the entire tree is there. Bijasya antaha, inside the seed, ankura iva. Like the ankura, like the future tree, inside that small seed, idam jagat, this entire universe, prak, before its manifestation, nirvikalpam asid. Inside the seed, how the tree exists. Inside the seed, how this huge tree exists. Nirvikalpa. Nirvikalpa means unmanifested. If we cut open the seed, we don't see any tree. But seed, the tree is there. If tree was not there, from that seed the tree can come up? See, if something is not there, it cannot come up. It cannot manifest. In order to manifest, it should be there in an unmanifested form. So, just like in a seed, the entire tree is there. The same way, idam jagat, this entire universe, prak. Prak, before. Before what? Before the creation, nirvikalpamasi. This entire universe existed in us before the projection in an unmanifested form. Punaha, then what happened? We want to enjoy the world. So when that desire came that let me become many, let me enjoy the world. So what happens? Punaha, after that, Maya kalpita. Maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitriya chitrikritam-asid. Then how this world came to exist? Says it is because of the power of Maya. Maya kalpitam, which is by the desire, by the power of the Maya. What came first? Kala, time and space, desha and kala. Time and space manifested. Once the time and space manifested, through the medium of time and space, the objects, Panchabhutas, etc. manifested, and by the combination of these objects, this entire universe is standing. These are all basically because of the power of Maya. Maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitriyam. All these different names and forms, vichitrikritam, that entire universe, what we see, what we experience, is because of the power of Maya. The power of Maya manifests first as the space and the time. Then, yaha mayavi iva, mahayogi iva. No, how can this entire world can manifest? Oh, this manifestation is like the magic of the magician. Mayavi iva. How a magician will go and then sit in front of him. So in India, magic was very much, we call it Indrajala, Mahendrajala, etc. So they do magic in front of us. A rope comes from the skies and then the magician goes up and then fights and his head and body is fallen, blood is oozing out. That's all we see. What is that? That is the Maya of Mayavi. Like that, Mayavi iva, Mahayogi iva, or like a great yogi. He can, Sankalpa matrena, he can create. Like Bhagavan, Sri Vishwamitra, when Trishanku was prohibited to enter into the heavens, he created another Surga. So, Mahayogi iva, like a yogi or like a Mayavi, like a magician, Swa Ichchaya, with his own Ichcha, Sankalpa Matrena, with his own Ichcha, Vijrumbhayati api, this entire universe is created. By whose grace, by whose blessings I understand that this entire universe is created due to the power of Maya Shakti. Actually, there is only Bodha. Bodha is manifested as names and forms and this universe. My prostrations to that Guru, that Bhagavan, Sri Dakshinamurti, who gives me the wisdom to understand the oneness beyond meaning, the names and forms. He in whom this universe, prior to its projection, was potentially present like a tree in a seed, and by whom it was brought out to its multiform by the magic, as if they were of his own will, or in the manner of a great yogi, out of his own power. To that Dakshinamurti, the Supreme Being, embodied in the auspicious and benign Guru, I offer my pranams. I proffer my pranams to the Ishvara, because of whom this entire universe is projected. I offer my pranams to that Guru who makes me aware that all these names and forms which I see is only a projection of the Bodha. They are not actually there. My prostration to such Guru. Mantra 3. Yasyeva spuranam sadatmakamasat kalpartakam bhasate sakshat tattvamasiti veda vajasa yo bodhayatyashritan yat sakshat karanat bhavenna punaravrittir bhavambo nidau tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye nama idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Sadatmakam yasyeva spuranam asatkalparthakam bhasate. Yaha sakshat tattvamasi iti veda vajasa ashritan bodhayati. Yat sakshat karanat bhavambo nidhau punaha avrittihi na bhavet. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Shri Dakshinamurtaye idam namama. He by whose light the universe, which is unreal, appears as almost real, and who graciously teaches the truth of Brahman to the disciples seeking refuge in him, and who is realized through the comprehension of the meaning of the great Vedic statement Tattvamasi, that thou art, which realization alone puts an end to the cycle of samsara and rebirth. To that Dakshinamurti, the Supreme Being, my prostrations. See, whatever is, whatever we have seen as this universe, sadatmakam yasya eva spuranam. Some philosophies of India like Madhyandiniga, Bauddhavada say that everything exists, everything comes out of Shunyam. And Vedanta do not accept it. From Shunyam, from absence, from Asat, Sat cannot come out. So, Asat can come from Sat, but Sat cannot come from Asat. This entire universe, what we see in this, Sadatmakam Yasya Spuranam, all this universe, what we see and feel that they are really there. Sadatmakam Yasyeva Spuranam Asatkalparthakam Bhasate. Actually, Atma alone is there, it manifests as this universe. Now, how do we feel? We feel that this universe is the truth and Atma is not there. This is the power of Maya. Jo hai, whatever is there, we feel that it is not there. And whatever is really not there, that we feel that it is actually there. This is known as Maya Shakti. And, so we feel that the body, the Jivatva, this Jagat, everything is there. That's what we think. Now, Sakshat Tattvamasiti Vedavachasa Ashritan Bodhayati. By Bhagavan gives us the Upadesha Tat Tvam Asi. You are that supreme consciousness. By this Upadesha, Mahavakya of Tattvamasi, the wisdom is given to us that you are the truth. You are that supreme being, and whatever we see in the names and forms are only the projection. What is the projection is not the supreme truth. The supreme truth is your consciousness. Your bodha is the truth. What we see as names and forms are only projection. Like this. So this knowledge is given to us by Tattvamasi Upadesha. So Upadesha is given to us by Guru only, Bhagavan Dakshinamurti only. And yet Sakshat Karanat. When we hear this, and then we have to do the manana, when we do the nididhyasana, through Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, when we directly experience that Bodha alone is there. All these names and forms are only projections. Yeah, Sakshat Karanat. When it become our direct experience, Bhavambho nidhau punaravrittihi na bhaved. There is no more coming back into this, the cycle of birth and death. There is no more samsara. There's only one way to come out of this samsara, janana marana chakra, that is by understanding that I am supreme consciousness, I am not a jiva. And whatever I see as names and forms is only a projection. I am the Bodha Swarupa Atma. When we realize, recognize, understand this truth, that is the only way to come out of this cycle of creation. Bhavambho nidhau punaravrittihi na bhavi. We will not come back, return to this cycle of birth and death. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Dakshinamurtaye idam namah. My prostrations to that Guru who gives me jnanam, who gives me ability to understand and take me out of this, janana marana chakra. To that Guru, my prostrations again and again and again. Fourth verse. Nana chidra gadodarastida mahadeepa prabhabhaswaram jnanam yasya tu chakshuradikarana bahispandate janamiti tameva bhandhamanubhate tatsamastam jagat tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye nama idam Shri Dakshinamurthy. Let us see the Anvaya. Nana Chidra Gadodara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabhabhaswaram Yasya Jnanam Tu Chakshuradi Karanadwara Bahispandate Etat Samastam Jagate Janami Iti Bhantam Tameva Anubhati. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Dakshinamurtaye Idam Namamaha. He whose light gleams through the senses, like the eyes, etc., like the light emanating through many holes in a pot, which with a brilliant lamp is kept. He whose knowledge alone brings in the state of knowing, characterized by the awareness, I know. He whose luminosity alone makes everything else shines after him. To that Dakshinamurti, the Supreme Being, embodied in this auspicious and benign Guru, I offer my pranams. A beautiful, in order to understand the concept of Vedanta, a beautiful example is given. I am sure that in North India, in many places, especially in Gujarat, etc., at the time of Navaratri, we keep a ghada, a deepa, a khanda deepa, inside a pot. In that pot, there are different holes, small holes are there. Inside that hole, the pot, we keep a lamp. Especially when they do garba and dance, etc., they keep this lamp in the center. I'm sure many of you might have seen that. So that example is taken here, Bhagavan. Nana Chidra Ghadodara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabhabhaswara. So there is a pot. In that pot there are many holes, and then there is a deepa inside. So when we keep it like that, so there are many things outside. Those things, forms which are outside are shining because of the light which is kept inside the pot. How the light is coming out? Through all those holes which are there in the pot. The same way, Yasya Jnanam. See, whatever we see, I understand that there is a chair, there is a table, there are people. All this Jnanam coming from where? Where does the knowledge arise? Is the knowledge is coming from outside, or is the knowledge is coming from inside? This is the question. See, so there is a pen. Okay. Now I know that this is a pen. The knowledge that this is a pen, whether that knowledge is coming from this pen or is it coming from within? This is the question. Here Bhagavan says that the knowledge is actually coming from within. No, that light of wisdom through the indriyas goes outside and then, and then take the form of this and then come back to us. Nana Chidra Gadodara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabhabhaswaram Yasya Jnanam, whose knowledge, Chakshuradi Karanadwara, through different holes, through different senses like the eyes, etc., Bahihi Spandade, it flows outside and take the form of this, and then that is known. Otherwise, when we are sleeping, when we are dreaming, the outside world is there. But do we see? Do we experience? So, Bahispandate. So, all that knowledge is actually coming from within. Etat samastam jagat janami. This is how we know that this entire universe, the existence of this universe is coming from within. Iti bhantam tam. Just like the lamp which is there inside the pot, that only has light. That light is coming through the holes of the pot. And through that light alone, we see different things. Isn't it? Same way, the Atma, that Bhana, that Jnana, that Tattva, that Bodha, which is there within us, is coming out through the different holes, different senses, and then the entire universe is known. So that Bodha, that consciousness is Dakshinamurti. So who is Dakshinamurti? Dakshinamurti is that consciousness which exists in all of us, which comes through these holes and takes the names and forms of this universe, and the entire jnanam of this universe is there because of the consciousness deep within us. That consciousness which exists in each one of us is known as Dakshinamurti. He is the Guru Tattva. My prostrations to that Guru Tattva, that Dakshinamurti which exists deep within me, and that consciousness which peeps out through the senses, and then the entire world is known. My prostrations to that Dakshinamurti. Next verse number 5. Deham pranamapi indriyanyapi chalam buddhim cha shunyam viduhu stri balandha jatopamastvhamiti bhranta bhrisham vadinah maya shakti vilasa kalpita mahavyamoha samharine Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Now here different Anyamata Khandana is done. There are in India, in Bharatavarsha, there are many philosophies. Starting from Charvaka, Lokayataha. Charvaha means the those people who do not believe in anything else other than what they see. So at modern day, what we call as the materialistic thinking. Whatever exists, matter alone is there. There is no self, there is no Atman, nothing. Whatever we see, that's all. So now Bhagavan is taking up this, showing the other mata and does the Khandana. Says, there's a pseudo-philosopher, Bhagavan calls them pseudo-philosophers. Of them, regard the body, prana, the breath, senses of perception, indriya, and organs of action, karmendriya, fleeting cognitions, and total non-existence as Atma. There are philosophies in India. Where in India is there in India, there will be always in the world, who thinks that this body alone is Atma, prana is Atma, indriyas are Atma, chalam buddhi is Atma. That's what some people think. Cognition, jnanam is Atma. Shunyam, some others say no, shunya, absence. Non-existence, Shunyam is Atma. Like that, Shunyam Viduhu. How are they? Oh, they are all very intellectually innocent and ignorant like children. Sri Bala Andha Jata Upamasu. Those people who cannot take a right decision, those people who are very innocent, those people who are like blind, those people who are foolish. No, they are not able to take the right decision or right understanding, right cognition. The same way, all these philosophers, they put forth so many vadas. These are all ahamiti bhrantaha brisham vadinah. These are all wrong arguments. Their power of comprehension is comparable, like the children, blind, dull-witted. he who destroys this stupendous delusion caused by this inscrutable power called Maya, to that Dakshinamurti, the Supreme Being, embodied in the auspicious and benign Guru, I offer my profound salutation. Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpida Mahabhyomoha. Why this happens? Why people think that the Sharira is Atma? Why people think the Prana is Atma? Why Atma think people think senses are mind, buddhi, shunyam? Why people think so? Because of the power of Mahamaya. Even after we study Vedanta, we understand that there is something known as Atma. Still, when somebody touches me, I ask him, why are you touching me? We say that, I am Atma, I am not Sharira. But when somebody touches me, I ask, why you are touching me? Because although this intellectually we understand all this, but in our life, we still think that we are body. Body, Sharira, that's what we think. Why? Because of the Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpida Mahamoha, Vyamoha, delusion due to the power of Mahamaya. But who is Bhagavan Dakshinamurti? Bhagavan Dakshinamurti is the one who removes this ajnanam, who removes this ignorance and gives us the right knowledge that all this Sharira, Mano, Buddhi, etc. is only my equipments. I am the Supreme Consciousness. Prostration to that Guru gives us this right understanding and saves us from samsara. Here, I am sure that you have noticed that I have not explained a word. There is a word here, stri. Now people become very angry. Why stri? Why stri are... See, stri is not, in our Shastra, whenever you read the word stri, that is not, indicating a body. Okay? Stri and Puman, Stri and Purusha in Shastra is indicated in a different sense. Purusha means Jiva, not man. In many places you will see there is a Purusha Sukta. Now there is, this pseudo people, they say there is a Purusha Sukta in Hinduism, there is no Stri Sukta. These all are, the Purusha is not man. Purusha means being. That's the meaning. What do you mean by Stri? Here Stri is not, that's not indicating to a female. Stri means, technically, Stri means those people who live on the plane of emotions. A man also, a person who is living in a man's body also can be Stri. Stri is not a physical existence. Stri is that state of mind which is highly influenced by emotions. Okay, so that's why Stri is said. Stri is not Bhagavan was not referring to, you see, when Sri Bhagavan, Sri Shankara himself and Sureshwaracharya did Vada Prativada, Mandara Mishra, not Suresh. So when the Sakshal Ubhaya Bharati was the Madhyastha, so it is, Bhagavan is not referring to a female body. When Sri Shankaracharya, when he in the Shastra, when they say Stri is not a female. Stri means a Jiva who is overruled by or overpowered by emotions. And Bala means who has not ability to decide the right and wrong. And Antha, those people who cannot see the truth. Jada, Mandabuddhi, because of all this. The emotions, the ignorance, the delusion and the stupidity. Because of all this, Bhrantaha, we are all mad. We are not able to understand the reality. Brishamvadinaha, And then we think that, oh, Deha is true, Prana is true, Atma is, Indriya is Atma. Brishamvadana, again and again we, argue that this is the truth. Why? Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Mahavyamoha Samharini. And Bhagavan Sri Dakshinamurti is the Samhari, one who removes, one who destroys this Mahavyamoha, this great delusion which is coming from Maya Shakti Vilasa, the power of Maya. To that Dakshinamurti, my prostrations again and again and again. Sixth verse. Rahugrasta divakarendu sadrisho maya samachadanat sanmatra karanopasam yo bhut sushuptah puman pragaswapsamiti prabodha samaye yah pratyabhijñāyate tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye nama idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Yaha puman maya samachadanat Rahugrasta divakara sadrishaha karana upasamharataha sushupta puma sanmatraha abhut. Yaha prabodha samaye prak aswapsamiti pratyabhijñāyate tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Dakshinamurtaye idam namah. Prostrations to that Bhagavan again and again. As the brilliance of the sun or the moon exist, even when intercepted by the Rahu during eclipse, the power of cognition remains suspended from the senses and the mind during sleep. The Purusha or the self exists as the pure being unrecognized through Maya's veiling power. On waking, he becomes aware that he himself was asleep earlier. Similarly, the man of realization, on waking to the consciousness of the self, which is the pure being, recognize his previous ignorance as a past event and an apparent phenomenon. He by whose grace this recognition of the true nature of the Atman comes to me. To that Dakshinamurti, to that Guru, my prostrations again to again. This is a very important verse. Each verse is very important, but this one gives an answer to our state, our present state. We keep on hearing that we are that consciousness, we are that supreme self, etc., etc. But our experience is not like that. We experience ourselves as dukkhita, we are suffering, we are this and man and woman and then, ignorant and all that what we experience actually. See, if our true nature is that Sachidananda Brahman, then how can we experience that Asat Tachit, as something who dies, for someone who goes through these different experiences. See, I experience sadness, I experience birth and death, then how can you say that I am that Ajo Nirvikalpa Atma? Isn't it? This is a very, very, very important question will come to our mind. Bhagavan is trying to answer it here. Bhagavan says, when Rahu, according to our Purana, the Rahu, the eclipse is happening because of the Rahu is following sun and moon. Means Rahu actually the Chaya Graha. When the Chaya, comes in front of Surya or Chandra, it is eclipsed. See, when the eclipse happens, during the time of eclipse, we do not see the sun or moon. Isn't it? We are not seeing the sun or moon during the eclipse. But even when the eclipse is happening, sun and moon is still there. Isn't it? The same way, also, when we sushuptaha, when we go to deep sleep, We are not, we are not experiencing anything of this world. Karanopasamharadaha sushuptaha. When we are in deep sleep, we are not experiencing anything. But even when we are asleep, Bodha is still there. It is as though veiled. And when we get up, when we come out of sleep, then we remember, oh, I slept so well. We are sitting in the class and listening, and the class is so boring. After some time, we drift to sleep. And after some time, we get up. And then ask, what is happening? Oh, we were sitting in the second verse. Now it is only sixth verse. So many over. Because when we go to sleep, we do not know. But when we get up, we remember, oh, I was asleep. See, there is somebody who is experiencing the waking and the sleep. So the one who is experiencing waking and sleep should be different from waking and sleep. That Bodha is me. That Bodha which is experiencing waking, dreaming and sleeping is surely different from these three states, and I am that consciousness which is actually giving light to all my experiences. Prabodha sabaye prak aswapsamidi pratyabhijnayate. We recognize, pratyabhijna, this is a very important term, pratyabhijna. We recognize. It's not that we know the first time, recognize. That is because of the blessing of this Atma Tattva. Prostration to that Atma Tattva again and again and again. Can we continue the three more words? I will go a little fast. Is it okay? I may take 10 more minutes.
Ji Swamiji, okay. Please go ahead.
Balyadishvapi jagradadishu tadha sarvasvavastasvapi vyavrittasvanuvartamanamahamityandasphurandam sadam swatmanam prakatīkaroti bhajadam yo mudraya bhadraya tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye nama idam Sri Dakshinamurthy. He whose existence and reality shine always and uniformly in various states of the body, like infancy, etc., and of the mind, like waking, etc., and who reveals the highest knowledge of the Atman by the mere auspicious Jnana Mudra, to that Dakshinamurti, the Supreme Being, embodied in the auspicious and benign Guru, I offer my pranams. See, Bhagavan is telling there is only one consciousness which is recognizing different states. See, when we were small children, what was our thought? Aham balaha. I am a small child. I am a teenage person. I am a youth, young man or woman. I am a middle-aged person. I am an old-age person. See, all these changes. The body changes, mind changes, understanding changes. But there is one thing which is constant. What is that constant? Aham. This aham is not changing. Our body changes, our mind changes, intellect changes, our beliefs changes, our everything changes. But there is one constant factor which is aham. Balyadishu. Like that, jagradadishu. See, now when we are waking state, we said, I am awake. When we go to sleep and then we dream, then we think that I am dreaming. And then we say that I was deep, in deep sleep. So all this Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti, they're all known by me. That's why we can remember. So there is a constant person, all in this, names and forms and states. Abhi ahamiti antaha anuvartamanam. There's a deep, awareness of oneself deep within, sada spurantam, and that only comes out Atmanam. This Atma, see, Bhagavan Sri Dakshinamurti mudraya. With his mudra, bhajatam prakati karodi, who takes refuge at his lotus feet, he gives this jnanam through mudra. What is this mudra? This is you. Now you see that you is always with these three. What is this three? This three is our Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, or Stula, Sukshma, Karna, Sharira. So Aham, I-ness, is always with our gross, subtle and causal body. Okay? So that's why we are in this state. Once we detach this Aham and then joins with Atma, this is me, this is you, and this you is always with this. So this Aham, when we understand that this actual my consciousness is Bodha, it becomes Purnam, you see. This best, good. So this becomes Purnam when we detach our Ahankara and attach to Atma Tattva. So this is known as Jnana Mudra. With that Jnana Mudra, Sri Bhagavan gives us this Jnana. Who? Dakshinamurti. That's why in Bhagavan Dakshinamurti's hand, this is the Jnana Mudra. So, Bhadraya Mudraya Bhajadam Prakati Karoti. So you detach yourself from Stula Sukshma Karna Sharira Jagrata Swapna Sushupti Balya Kaumara Yovanadi and then attach it with the Atma Tattva. Then you are free from this world of illusion. This jnanam is given by Bhagavan Dakshinamurti through this Jnana Mudra. To that Dakshinamurti, my prostrations again and again. 8th verse. Vishwam pashyati karya karanataya swaswami sambandhatah Shishyacharyataya tadaiva pitriputradhyatmana bhedadah Swapne jagradiyat vaya esha purusho maya paribhramidah Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. He, by whose power of Maya, the world is experienced during both the waking and dream state, in all its variations in the cause-effect relations like master and servant, teacher and disciple, father and son, to that Dakshinamurti, my prostration. Vishwam pashyati. Anvaya. Yaha esha purushaha maya paribhramidaha swapne jagrati va vishwam karya karanataya swaswami sambandadaha shishya acharya tadaya tada pitruputratmana va pashyati. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Dakshinamurtaye idam namah. My prostration to that Dakshinamurti. See, all these experiences of duality. Purushaha. Why these different experiences of duality of this universe? Because Maya paribhramitaha, deluded by the power of Maya. Swapne, when we are in sleep, when we are dreaming. See, only I am there in dream. Isn't it? Nobody else is there. But I myself is becoming my father, myself, my son, my mother, my relatives, my friends, my foes, everything. Only I am there. Same way, Jagrati, in this waking state also, Vishwam, this entire universe, Karya Karanatadaya, as the cause and effect, Swaswami Sambandada, as the master and the servant, Shishya Acharya, as the teacher and the taught, Pitraputratmana, as the father. All these dualities are experienced because of this Maya. And Bhagavan Sri Dakshinamurti gives us this knowledge and help us to wake up from this delusion and understand that This only the Bodha consciousness is there, which is experiencing or which is, which is seen as all these names and forms. To that, Bhagavan Dakshinamurti, my prostrations. Verse number 9. Bhuram bhasyanalo nilombadamaharnadho himamshu puman ityabhadi characharatmagamidam yasyeva murtyashtakam nanyat kinjana vidyade vimrasadam yasmat parasmat vibho tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye nama idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Some of us will be wondering why this is known as Dakshinamurti Ashtakam. Actually, up to the 8th verse is this Jnana Marga. The 9th is Upasana. See, everybody may not be able to really, understand, experience this Jnanam. So, how can we reach there? The Upasana is indicated in the 9th. 10th is Bhalashruti. That's why Ashtaka, the 8 verses are Jnana, 9th is an Upasana, 10th is Bhalashruti. That's why generally sometimes many places Dakshinamurti Stotram they say, sometimes they say Dakshinamurti Ashtakam because of the 8 verses are about Jnana, 9th is about the Upasana. Okay? What is the Upasana? Says, the moving and non-moving universe is but the manifestation of his subtle and unmanifest 8-fold form. Murti Ashtakam, Ashtamurti, which are the earth, water, fire, air, sky, sun, moon and Jivatma. He by whose grace all this manifestation disappear with the realization. Nothing exists except the Supreme Brahman. To that Dakshinamurti, the Supreme Being, embodied in my prostrations. See, what is this universe? This universe is known as Ashtamurti Bhrit. Bhagavan manifests in 8 forms. What are they? Earth, Bhuhu, Ambasi, water, Analaha, fire, Anilaha, air, Ambara, space, Aharnadaha, Surya, Himamshuhu, Chandraha, Puman, Jivatma. So sometimes in like Bhagavad Gita, etc., Aharnada and Himamshu is Buddhi and mind. Okay? Puman is Jivatma. Yasya murtyashtakam idam characharatmakam bhavati. This entire characharatmaka universe is a combination of these 8. Vimrasadam. When we think about this, when we meditate upon this, yasmat parasmat vibhoho anyat kinjana vidyate. Actually, there is only one supreme consciousness. There is nothing other than this vibhu. Ishvara himself manifests as this Ashtamurti Prapancha. And when we understand and worship this Ishvara, understand that Bhagavan alone is manifested as this universe, then we will be able to recognize this the existence, consciousness and an Ananda aspect different from all these names and forms. This Jnana is given to us by Sri Dakshinamurti. So, my prostrations to that Dakshinamurti. So, this is an Upasana indicated. Ashtamurti Bhrit Deva Pujanam. Now comes the last verse, which is actually a Bhalashruti. What is, if you study this, then what happens? Sarvatmattvamidhi spudi kritamidam yasmadamushminstave tenasya shravanat tadartamananad dhyanat cha sankirtanat sarvatmattvamahabhibhuti sahidam syadishwaratvam swataha siddye tat punarashtadha parinadam chaishwaryam avyahatam. The all-pervasiveness of the Atman is clearly expounded in this hymn. By its recital, hearing and meditation on its implied meaning, the devoted disciple attains to the all-pervasive nature of the Atman and fully realize his oneness with it, including the unhindered lordship over the whole universe. becoming the very essence of the eightfold manifestation referred above in the verse number 9. He reaches the plenitude of realization and spiritual joy. Balasruti. If we learn this Dakshinamurti Stotram, if we chant this Dakshinamurti Stotram, if we understand the essence of Dakshinamurti Stotram, what happened to us? Says, Yasmadidam sarvasmatvam. We understand that everything is me, myself. Idi amushmin stave spashtikritam. There's only one Atma who is manifest of this entire universe. This is the teaching. Yasmadidam sarvasmatvam iti amushmin stave spashtikritam. That is what explained. There's only one truth. That truth alone is manifested in these all names and forms. Asya Shravana, by listening to this Dakshinamurti Stotram, tadartha manana, by meditating on the meaning of this Dakshinamurti Stotram, dhyana. And then when we meditate on the self which is pointed out through this in their shloka, sankirtanas, by chanting it, mahavibhudi sahitam sarvatmatvam, we recognize the sarvatmata. I myself is manifested as this universe. Mahavibhuti. That Ishvara is my true nature. Then, Swataha tat Ishwaratvam cha syat. He become one with the supreme consciousness. Everything is possible to attain by the study, by meditation, by chanting, by understanding the true meaning of this Dakshinamurti. Punaha ashtada parinadavyahridamaishwaryam. Not only that, if somebody want different kinds of, anima, laghima, mahima, gurima, all that animadya aishwarya, all kinds of supernatural powers, that also can be attained through this Dakshinamurti Stotram. Such powerful, such profound, such deep is this Dakshinamurti Stotram. By let us study and then chant and then meditate this great stotra, so it will be really helpful for our spiritual evolvement, and then for sure it will help us to understand and realize our true nature, and we shall be free from the clutches of Maya. I'm feeling very sorry that such a great stotram, I could not take it in a very deep level because it takes time and also some preparations. So I also did not want to go into deep because this was my my subject of my when I was studying for my doctorate. So this was my thesis thing also. So I don't want to go into deep. I was not restricting myself going into deep discussions of this subject. But in one way, I feel very sorry that I could not explain it in a very detailed way. But then Bhagavan's grace that we could at least complete. I was really not very sure that I will be able to complete all the 10 verses. But because of the grace of Bhagavan Dakshinamurti, Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya, we could at least go through, just touch it. And please do chant this, by heart it, and then slowly as we go deep into Vedanta, the great treasure which is hidden in these 10 verses will be available to us. That is our birthright. Okay? May Dakshinamurti's, Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya's grace and blessings be with us to understand, to experience the great truth hidden in these great verses. Thank you. Hari Om.